I'm not going to have kids who have to fight for water. And I said, what do you mean? She goes, I don't think we're going to have water. And I dismissed it because it's scary.
This conversation makes me really emotional, and it is not my normal content. I want to elaborate on a really important part of what Teffy's talking about in her video that deals with the fact that we're running out of water. In 2019, almost 2 years ago to this day, I was down in Antarctica. I was getting to do scientific research with an incredible crew of people, and it was truly the opportunity of a lifetime. Part of what makes this story even more emotional for me is that while I was down there, I got to go to the Ukrainian base camp. And with everything happening in Ukraine right now, it just kind of hits home even more. But let's talk about clean water and why Antarctica is a really important piece to this puzzle. Antarctica is the only continent on Earth that no country can lay claim to. However, currently, right now, there are 29 countries down there doing scientific research. And I'm going to go like this: scientific research. And I say this because in order to have a base camp down there to be there, you have to do scientific research. What a lot of people won't talk about is that the reason why a lot of countries are down there right now doing scientific research is to find out what minerals and resources exist in Antarctica, which makes sense. However, one of the biggest resources that is down there is clean water, although microplastics have now been found down there as well. Barrett, where are you going with this? I promise there's a point that I'm getting to, but you need to understand all of this before we get to that point. Now, this is where things get even more complicated and interesting. What countries are down there? Well, some of the biggest ones that you should know about are the US, China, and Russia. What's happening in the world right now? There's a war and prices for everything are being inflated. Now think about what will happen when water starts to become scarce. Exactly. To make this even more scary is that there's an Antarctic Treaty. And to put it into really easy terms, what the Antarctic Treaty originally was meant to do is make it so that no country could lay claims to Antarctica ever. However, in 2048, if 2/3 of the countries that are a part of the Antarctic Treaty vote to modify it, they can modify it, which means we'll be able to start ripping up Antarctica, taking all the resources that they can, including fresh water. This is just my opinion. However, this also is something a lot of people who have been down there and studied this will agree with me. It is very likely that the Antarctic Treaty will be modified in 2048, meaning that countries like Russia, the US, France, China, Chile, Argentina, etc. can start to lay claims to part of Antarctica and try and do what they can to it to take the resources that their countries are going to need. Water is a necessity for human life. If enough humans can't get it, we will end up seeing one of the worst wars in our history ever. I don't like fear-mongering. However, after being down there and seeing ice caps melting, water levels rising, animal populations dwindling, and the very real effects of this happening now around the world, we are going to go into a very serious spot, as these scientists are saying, very soon, and we need to make changes now.